Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Renee here, strolling along the beach today for this morning's daily Videodevo. You know, I was just reading in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, fascinating passage in light of our theme last weekend, gentleness. Paul reminds the Thessalonians how gentle he had been as a teacher among them. He says in 1 Thessalonians 2, starting in verse 7, he says, "As apostles of Christ, we certainly had a right to make some demands of you, but instead we were gentle among you. We were like a mother feeding and caring for her own children." And then he switches metaphors in verse 11. He says, "You know, we treated each of you as a father treats his own children. We pleaded with you, encouraged you, urged you to live your lives in a way that God would consider worthy, for he has called us to that for his kingdom and his glory." So Paul is saying, I was gentle with you as a nursing mother. I was gentle with you as a loving and compassionate father. He's saying, I didn't lord my authority over you. Well, I read this and I thought, what a difference this is from a lot of so-called preachers of the gospel and even just ordinary day-to-day Christians who are not gentle about sharing their faith. They just hammer people over the head with the Bible. Why is that? Why the difference between the Apostle Paul's example here and so many people who just come on way too strong and not gentle at all? Well, I think a big key is what Paul says just a couple of verses earlier. He says in verse 4 of 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, he says, our purpose is to please God, not people. Folks, that is the key right there. If you want to be gentle with people, you got to get your ego out of the way. It's not about what other people think of you. It's not about pleasing other people. And so often our ego gets in the way. When we share our faith, we think, my self-worth is tied up in somebody's response as I share my faith. My self-worth is tied up with somebody's response when I invite them to church. Or as a parent, my self-worth is tied up in whether or not my children will behave. What will other people think of me? They'll think I'm a horrible parent if my kids don't behave. And it goes on and on and on. No, when you get your ego out of the way and your purpose is not to please people, but to please God, man, that is the key to gentleness. Because then I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna leave the results to God, and I can share my faith, I can parent, I can instruct others in a loving and a gentle way. I won't be harsh because it's not about me and my reputation. It's about God, and I leave the results to him. Edging God out, that's ego, but edging ego out, that's the key to gentleness in your life and mine. Well, think about that. I hope you have a great day today. God bless.